I'd like to bring in Zach Lowe into this conversation. Zach, I'm curious, what are your thoughts here?
I mean, it's all over the place. There's a human story where certain sentiments are just beyond the pale of acceptability, and Kyrie Irving's refusal to disavow those sentiments day after day after day, as reported in Adrian and Ramona's story, ignoring text message from the Nets governor, Joe Tsai. On a human level, it's just not okay. It's not acceptable. It's sad, and it has caused enormous pain for lots of people. Then there's a basketball story that we're a basketball show. The Nets are a basketball team, and we're obligated to talk about that too. And that story to me is, this feels like the end for this iteration of the Brooklyn Nets. It feels unsalvageable. I don't see, no matter who they hire as coach, no matter when Ben Simmons comes back, no matter if Kyrie Irving comes back at all, I just don't see how this is salvageable in terms of cobbling a championship contender out of the ruins of this. Even saying the word championship around what's going on with this franchise now, contender, it just feels ridiculous. And that just brings you to the next domino that will fall, which is, it just feels inevitable that other teams are going to start calling the Nets about Kevin Durant. And if this really is the end for the Nets, their only move left, the only way to restock the cupboard of draft picks and young players, the only quiver they have left, the only arrow in the quiver, rather, is trading Kevin Durant, whether it's 2 months from now, 6 months from now, 4 months, whatever it is. It just feels like we're headed there again, just as we were there over the summer when Kevin Durant requested a trade. And even though that feels like 5 years ago, it was not that long ago.
Yeah, I do agree with some of your points, Zach. I do feel like in the big scheme of things, the long term of things, this might feel like the end, especially when you think about where this team was a couple years ago with their aspirations to win a championship. I do think that Kyrie releasing a statement so soon after we heard that he's going to have to serve at least a 5-game suspension shows that he's probably aware that he still has a willingness to want to play basketball. That's why we got it so soon. But I do think that also it's the beginning for a new day where finally the Nets overall, because when we talk about sports and when we talk about championship culture, you have to protect that at all costs. It's the beginning because finally we see a standard. I always go back to where I was in middle school, and we actually had multiple speakers that came from the Anti-Defamation League to educate us on all different versions of hate. And the idea was that they always said there's no place for hate. And I think through this statement in which the Nets said he must satisfy objective remedial measures that address the harmful impact of his conduct, and the suspension period served is less than no more than 5 games, or no less than 5 games. There you're seeing a standard finally, because for so long we've been waiting. All right, where does this go? Who's holding him accountable? Finally, you see within the culture of sports a standard saying, look, we're no place for hate, and given this circumstance, this is how we're moving forward. It creates a pathway for Kyrie to be back, but in the big scheme of things, you finally see something in the Nets or even NBA saying we don't stand for this, and this is how we hold our teams to the standard.
And I think reality also hit Kyrie in the face. Like, oh, this is real, and they're doing something about it. Like you said, the standard is being set, and you're welcome to have freedom of speech, but there's consequences sometimes that come with that, and you have to be aware of that. And I think him wanting to have his freedom of speech, I have no problem with that. But like I said, you have to be willing to deal with the other side of it. And I think someone is in his ear made him aware of, hey, look at the other side about it. That could be your family. Or, somebody talking about you, how would you feel about that?
Or basketball might go away.
Correct, and that's what I think he's starting to see, the reality that basketball, this could be it. You have to find a team that's going to want to deal with that, and that might not be the case for him. So I just hope this helps him 5 games away, kind of gets him to take a step back a little bit and say, hey, what am I doing? What's more important to me and my family right now? And then move forward.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.